Montreal, maybe 5 to 10 centimeters, and we're going to see not a whole lot here in Toronto until some rain the end of the week. Now tomorrow morning it's still cold.
What did you just do?
17, and then by afternoon
fuck off! Like
better,
seriously,
breezy, and that'll be the
6 seconds in, and you're already on us. Look at you, fucking pussy.
+2. Wednesday looks just beautiful.
6
Thursday up
seconds,
to 2 as well.
and you're
3
already on
rain
us.
and then flurries.
So the only reason we're allowed online right now is because all the good stories got run through.
For a high with a wind chill of
Today's contest word is
24 minutes.
Go to globalnews.ca/Toronto.
No, it's a complete waste of time because you're not going to rerun that broadcast because you're cheap fucks and you're just simulcasting your fucking TV news. What the fuck? Oh, they spent like 8 minutes on anti-black racism and the police killing people. And this is where the brown skin fucking Rogers technicians come in. Fuck you, you're not a race or an ethnic group. I don't know what the fuck you are, but you're constantly telling me about your fucking pride. Well, I guess we're going straight to music because I got nothing.
He's playing leapfrog. American mother over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog.
You won't tell me what the fuck you are, I don't know what to call you. It's that simple. Music acting is what I was admit.
You cut heads out, you worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game Gods. Niggas melly rock on your block with a chain on. Just to get hit up, can't make it. Like Trayvon, just stay calm. Niggas got gang on, the stove top. Metal like Crayons, turning them heat rays on. They paid on debts and purchased more. Thought they only wanted 2 ounces but purchased 4. You know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. 2-door sport in the court, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a tool. Still running that nation of domination for Rook. P89 and that river slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome and it charged up. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-dog. I have him in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog, burnt like a press.
Every issue of the day, no, you are not absolutely forbidden from fucking redistributing this information. Why is this so fuck off?
You want to bring your elevator up to current safety codes? Call CEE. They'll set up a maintenance program to ensure your elevator has reliable, trouble-free operation. For a free quote, contact CEE Elevator, 905-428-8300. Online at cee-elevator.com.
License 10349.
People don't usually sing about their mortgage, but at Northwood Mortgage they do. They sing about lower rates. They sing about greater cash flow. They sing because we help them. You can be singing about your mortgage too. Come on, try it with us. Northwood Mortgage. Come on.
We've been on here 3. I'm gonna count it from 2 minutes because I didn't know it was broken. But apparently, within 2 minutes, you broke the radio twice. You navigated us off the fucking watch page.
Be a hero. And
again, please click things I'm not clicking on. Select what you want. Pick the music, skip the track, close this tab, do whatever you want. You're not surprising anybody.
On that road. So the proximity of the airport itself is a big factor in these attacks. But then again, the hotel itself, Hotel Afrique, is next to that checkpoint that I've mentioned, has been a hive of activities in recent weeks. It's been the center of clan elders who have been meeting there time and again. Opposition leaders there have been gathering to rally their support to campaign against the current president, Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, in the run-up to the elections. So briefly, Al-Shabaab, previously rather, Al-Shabaab has said that they're going to attack those who take part in the electoral process.
That was Abdulaziz Billo reporting on the situation in Mogadishu after an attack on a hotel in the city. It's 28 past the hour. Beijing today getting sunny skies and +2 Celsius for a high. A low of -9 this evening. Chongqing's overcast in 11, then down to 8. Lhasa sunny in 7, then dipping to -5. Hong Kong's cloudy in 25 with a low of 17.
Hello, this is Michael Zhang. Greetings from Los Angeles of the Golden State of California. Thank you today for...
of many government leaders. The WHO is encouraged by declining numbers of new coronavirus cases. An attack on a hotel in Somalia has left 9 dead and many others injured. Shane Begum with you. Stay with us here on the Beijing Hour.
Join the most popular Chinese the best.
In-depth analysis, valuable insights, expert views, presented by an award-winning team. Today, keeping you well informed, up-to-date,
if you're working from home, like so many people are these days, we must all continue to follow the public health measures in order to get transmission of COVID-19 under control.
Get all the consistent coverage you crave through the Radio Player app on your smartphone, your home assistant, and more. Stay informed and stay safe at home with us. Full-length radio, 640 Toronto.
Your health, with so many other challenges, you at Highway 89. COVID assistance programs.
Des images de gens faisant la queue devant les guichets automatiques, devant des magasins d'alimentation aussi. C'est quand même la démocratie de ce pays qui est bouleversée à nouveau. Notre analyste aux affaires internationales, François Brousseau, est avec nous. François, rappelez-nous d'abord comment les militaires du Myanmar justifient leur coup d'État.
La raison officielle, c'est la fraude prétendument massive qui suspecte des élections remportées haut la main par le parti de la Ligue nationale. C'est la formation de Mme Suu Kyi qui était déjà au pouvoir depuis 2015. La session parlementaire devait recommencer incessamment. Mme Suu Kyi, qui nous rappelle, n'était pas présidente parce qu'une clause de la Constitution le lui interdit parce qu'elle avait épousé un Britannique, bon, etc. Mais c'était tout comme. Un président du nom de Win Min lui répondait, mais elle était officiellement la numéro 2. Mais dans les faits, la numéro 1 du gouvernement, c'était bien elle.
Mais même avec un gouvernement civil démocratiquement élu, la première fois en 2015, puis réélu en novembre 2020, l'armée avait encore un poids énorme.
Ah, énorme. Si le président officiel devait se rapporter, comme j'ai dit à Mme Suu Kyi, elle devait se rapporter aux militaires. Les militaires qui, dans ce curieux compromis, disons semi-démocratique ou 3/4 démocratique qui avait été conclu en 2014-2015, l'armée avait pour elle 1/4 des députés et des sénateurs qui lui étaient automatiquement réservés sans élection. Et en plus, de nombreux ministres parmi les plus importants du gouvernement étaient directement nommés par l'armée. Cependant, à côté de ça, il y avait de vraies élections parlementaires auxquelles l'armée, en plus d'avoir ses fameux sièges automatiques 1/4, avait un parti qui en outre se présentait aux élections. Son nom, c'est l'USDP, Union pour la solidarité et le développement.
And, in 7 days, it's rocketed from, what was it, 3 billion to 25 billion in a week. Nothing has changed at the company.
How well a country or region has responded to the pandemic, the facts can speak for themselves. China always puts people first and lives first, and has taken the strictest and the most comprehensive and thorough measures to prevent and control the pandemic. It took a little more than a month to initially curb the spread of the pandemic.
Benjamin then says the city of Wuhan began to release information on the pandemic from the end of 2019, and gradually increased the frequency of information released. Since January 3rd last year, China's been posting notifications with the World Health Organization and other countries and nations to share information on the pandemic. The spokesperson says a study published in the journal Science shows the measures taken by China have prevented more than 700,000 infections in the country. He says China will continue to work with the international community to advance anti-pandemic cooperation and make efforts for a victory over the virus. Beijing's reported 0 new domestically transmitted cases of COVID-19 for 2 consecutive days. All places in the city are now low-risk areas except for a community in Dashing district. Municipal government spokesman Xu Hejian says people in Beijing are encouraged to stay put during Spring Festival and not leave Beijing or China unless necessary. He says all businesses are encouraged to stay open and provide both online and offline services during the holiday season.
加强生活物资保障，做好冷链食品监管等食品安全工作。
We should ensure the supply of living materials strengthen food safety such as cold chain food supervision, and make sure sufficient supply of daily necessities.
Beijing's launched subsidy policies to encourage migrant workers to stay in the communities where they work for the upcoming Spring Festival. The head of the World Health Organization says the global decline in coronavirus cases for a third consecutive week is encouraging. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says the fall in cases shows COVID-19 can be stopped with currently available tools.
For the third week in a row, the number of new cases of COVID-19 reported globally fell last week. There are still many countries with increasing numbers of cases, but at the global level, this is encouraging news. It shows this virus can be controlled, even with the new variants in circulation.
He says the same measures that have been employed for the past year are still critical, even though vaccines against COVID-19 are being rolled out. These measures include stopping mass gatherings, practicing good hygiene, and social distancing.
Can we eliminate scabies?
The UK says cases of coronavirus variant first identified in South Africa have now been found in England. Health Minister Matt Hancock gave details of areas where people have been asked to isolate and get a coronavirus test in efforts to curb its spread.
The contact tracing system now finds around 95% of those contacts. So it has built up to this very effective level. And in addition, by sending people door to door and working with the local authority, we're trying to find all of the possible contacts and ensure that they isolate, of course, which is the way that we're going to get this under control.
Britain's reported 105 cases of coronavirus variant first identified in South Africa, with 11 of those cases having no links to international travel. UK Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Susan Hopkins says 3 of the vaccines used in trials have been effective.
No idea where he's been taken, no time frame of when they can talk to him.
3 of the vaccines that have been used to date in trials have shown that they've been effective against the South African variant at a level greater than was set as the minimum standard by WHO and the US FDA. We expect all other vaccines to have a similar level of effectiveness, particularly in reducing hospitalization and death.
Dr. Hopkins also says that scientists are working to see if coronavirus vaccines need to be tweaked in order to better treat the South African variant. Both Hancock and Hopkins say health officials are working to map the spread of the virus and find links between those infected so more can be done to stop the spread. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says COVID-19 vaccine appointments at state-run facilities were canceled on Monday because of a snowstorm. He says the appointments will be rescheduled.
The vaccinations, those that were scheduled for today or tomorrow in state-run facilities, they're going to be postponed. I know how hard it is to get an appointment. I know people will say, I had an appointment finally. Is it really going to get rescheduled? It's really going to get rescheduled in any state-run facility.
The New York governor says the state's vaccinated about 2 million people so far, but it's being limited by supply issues. This is Shane Bigham live from the Chinese capital. Coming up in business, the top Chinese province in terms of GDP.
The Beijing Hour. The Beijing Hour.
The Beijing Hour brings you an hour of comprehensive news and information from both China and the rest of the world. A mix of news, sports, and entertainment. In-depth analysis of the day's big stories, as well as the most comprehensive business of the day.
We've defeated Goliath, but the fact is, on the way down, these same guys are going to make a lot more money than they lost.
But then what's the role of the social media in this? Does this saga marks a turning point for
Because
this isn't the kind of country we want, COVID or not. I mean, just because the government screwed up with their response, totally dropping the ball, they're now making up laws to save their rear end. But that does not, and it should not mean that they can take away basic civil rights. And these are very basic charter rights being absolutely shredded under the guise of, health protections. And apparently it's not an isolated case. I was surprised to read about Edmonton pastor Chris Matthews, who says the same thing happened to his wife when he went to pick her up at Calgary Airport last Thursday. And again, she too gets a test done in Dallas. It isn't apparently the right test. She got off a plane and then gets whisked away to an unknown isolation center. No questions asked, no information given to her husband. He was just completely left in the dark. And so
we're told that
you don't think it'll happen to you, but we've got two people here who tried to do everything by the book, get ahead of the game, and apparently they got the wrong test in the U.S. But here's what I wonder. So they get the wrong test in the U.S., but somehow between the time they board the plane to Canada and during the trip, they broke some rule that they only learned about when they were treated and punished like a criminal right on arrival.
It's not punishment.
So if it was the wrong test, how did they get on the plane in the United States? Did someone say, well, that's not the right test? I mean, did no one at the airline say you're not going to be able to get in the country?
It's not up to the
I guess what they should have known is that
that's your problem.
they shouldn't have gotten the antigen test. They were required to get the molecular COVID-19 test. Okay. You know, at least be clear about it. These are the kinds of things that people have to know when they're in a foreign country. It's not enough that the government can just drop these draconian laws on people and then allow the provincial authorities to kind of figure them out, or I don't know, the airport authorities or the bylaw authorities or whoever is walking around with a badge and a uniform. And as of Friday, over the weekend, my understanding is that these new quarantine laws are still being looked into by the Trudeau government to see if they can even do this stuff. And yet already, Alberta, of all places, is getting a head start on turning the Wild West into China. So, you know, you see these stories and you think, wow, okay, it couldn't happen here. Well, apparently it could happen here. And this woman, Rebecca, is just a very normal woman who's just completely baffled out as to why her son was taken away by law enforcement, and she was given zero information. That's not even how you get treated when you're under arrest for an actual crime. You at least get your rights read to you or some information or access to a lawyer. This goes way beyond that. So we will talk about it. We do, in fact, have a really good show tonight, very busy show. We've got Selena Cesar Chavanez. She's going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour. Spend some time with her talking about a new book that her former boss, Justin Trudeau, may not want to hear. But she has titled her new book, Do You Hear Me Now? And she has plenty to say. So we'll talk to her. We're going to talk about chaos in the Prime Minister's office, about healthcare, which was not prepared at all when COVID hit. We've talked about that before, but now documents are out talking about that. Coming up next, though, we are going to talk about our civil rights because, you know, as much as the experts in charge are forcing them upon us, we shouldn't just accept them. And yet new polling reveals alarming numbers of people who are just ready and willing to walk away from their rights. And then there are others who are actively trying to take away your rights. We will talk to Anthony Fury, who's got some interesting polling numbers on this. And maybe people don't understand what they're saying yes to. But we'll talk about that in just a second. Stay with us here. Alex Pearson on point, and this is Global News Radio.
Time now for a check on the roads with a look at
any of those
traffic.
rights she said you do. You can.
On the southbound 427, we got new problems.
Get yourself arrested and find out real fast.
Only, and only those hired by coal and natural gas.
And if you think your charter rights are only available in English and that it's the right to call legal aid, you're a fucking retard. And you must have your citizenship by birth.
Yeah, depending on the technology that they use. And these allowances issued at the moment free of charge. Those power stations that emit less carbon dioxide than their allowance can sell their excess allowance to those power stations which emit more.
It's just a measurement of energy. It means nothing. It means
if the allowances are allocated appropriately.
Are these allowances allocated based on how many trees you have? No. How about how much algae you help grow? No, then it's useless.
Down there, which are 2 times the national average on a per capita basis.
So with these old industries and all these entrepreneurs down that way, what do you think are the opportunities and challenges that Guangdong can expect in its future development?
Well, the challenges right now are mostly, with this kind of international trade situation. The reason that there is a huge growth in the information tech area is because they're switching over more to satisfying the domestic demand for chips and all of the things that are kind of being denied by China, by the U.S. So there's a great future there.
So it's still dealing with human rights got violated, but everybody knew this a year ago. They're gonna play around.
What are you? Some kind of ex-cop?
The odds.
Number one to call. You can't call number one. Queen Latifah is the equalizer. Special premiere episode Sunday after the big game on Global. Also available through Stack TV.
Toronto Contractors, Eamon here, founder and CEO of Renault Run. As a contractor for over 20 years, getting materials on site when they needed them was always unpredictable. So I created Renault Run, an online material store with same-day delivery. Built like Amazon, but created just for builders. Become a pro member and get unlimited deliveries for only $100 a month. Stop.
Damn it.
Either use it or put it in the ground.
So there will be a cap and carbon pricing, I guess. So how will the companies involved in the power industry be affected by
These
this?
explanations put out by government sources are, I guess you would call it that. All these fucking things.
Works, or FAW. Manufacturer is regarded as the benchmark of the country's auto industry. Hongqi sedans are usually the vehicle of choice for parades held to mark national celebrations. China's built a system to trace the source of domestic infant formula milk powder. The online mini program is now linked to the data of 76 major enterprises, covering 88% of the annual output of the product in the country. Consumers can scan QR codes for the program to obtain data that they're concerned about. Li Tengbing with the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology explains the kind of information consumers can gather.
The mini program displays information of consumers' concerns, including the sources and certificates of compliance of major raw materials, and reports on product quality inspection.
Ministry will next guide infant formula milk powder producers to establish their own tracing systems. Tracks for China's first high-speed railway controlled by private capital have started to be laid. The rail line will link 3 cities in Zhejiang province. The project involves a total investment of nearly 45 billion yuan, or $7 billion US. It's expected to have the travel time between Hangzhou and Taizhou
to achieve carbon neutrality before 2060.
Which is not a thing.
You may have been putting off. Our customers are our priority. It's how Reliance has earned over 50,000 five-star reviews.
The news
Why we always take
on Talk Radio 640 half an hour ago was very interesting.
Emma Beasley, NPR News. And you are listening to NPR News.
Nothing wrong, bro. They can play music.
Which occurred in 1989, and the record low is 5, which occurred in 1971. Sunset tonight is at 5:43 p.m.
The record high was in 89.
Sunrise tomorrow is
89 is like the hottest summer and the coldest winter.
At
That
the
was the
Rocky
weirdest
Mount
thing.
Airport, today's high was 36 degrees, and this morning's low was 34 degrees. A trace of precipitation has been reported as of 5 p.m. The current time is 6:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for central North Carolina. For this afternoon and tonight, no hazardous weather is expected at this time. And now the extended outlook for the period Tuesday through Sunday. No hazardous weather is expected at this time.
Especially about U.S.-China relations. But, realistically, the chances of picking up those initiatives that were set up under the Obama administration for the U.S. and China to cooperate on various technological programs related to low carbon transition, the probability of that happening is certainly much greater now under the current Biden administration than they.
I forgot which one is World Today and which one's Beijing.
Senator Zhou Qi came back to the court and helped Xinjiang smash Shanxi 112 to 101.
Given the other 10
Niggas ain't real. Nah, shot at your food like a meal.
This is gonna last forever.
Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot at your food like a meal. Hold on, let me get some people. The fuck you think you're doing? I pull up in the building and blast this music. You know how we do it. Like Montel Jordan and these Jordans. All these bitches is sweating. Still I ignore them. Cause all these girls boring. Anytime I come through, making girls get a push. It's Charlie, you know, rolling in the heart. I just hope you got the 40. 20 niggas in dark clothing, that's what we learn. You should hear the arrogance these niggas were called. And that bitch was on God. Before Asian or Dream, we had a bachelor. Fuck them up, middle fingers for law. We with the plastic.
The water treatment plant. We still have that problem. Why can't we use windmills to pump water into water towers?
You cutting heads off. You worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game God. Niggas melly rock on your block with a chain on. Just to get hit up, can't make it. Like Trayvon, just stay calm. Niggas got yay on. The stove top, metal like Kraydons. Turning them heat rays on. They paid on. That's some purchase more. But they only wanted 2 ounces for purchase for. You know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. 2-door sport in the court, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a tool. Still running that nation of domination for Rook. P89 and that barrel slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome when they try ducking. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-dog. I have him in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog is burnt like a Presley. Let me tell you how I feel. Niggas ain't real. Nah.
In this sustainable design book, I found a flow chart, basically, the detailing how to clean PCBs out of soil, polychlorobiphenyls. 2 pages. Well, if you want all the words, it's 2 pages. If you just want the flow chart, it's like a half a page. The whole process is not that complicated. It's complex, but it's not complicated. But they didn't do that here across the street. I'm sure of it. We would have heard about it. Oh, what was the other thing? Shit. What else did I? Fuck it. At least when I interrupt the conversation in the flow of something say, I try it tends to be, hey, by the way, your house is on fire, right?
You was playing Game Boy and niggas was playing Game God. Niggas melly rock on your block with a chain on. Just to get hit up, can't make it. Like Trayvon, just stay calm. Niggas got yay on. The stove top, metal like Kraydons. Turning them heat rays on. They paid on. Debts and purchase more. But they only wanted 2 ounces for purchase for. You know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. 2-door sport in the coop, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a tool. Still running that nation of domination for Rook. P89 and that barrel slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome when they try ducking. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-dog. I have him in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog is burnt like a Presley. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Hold on, let me get some pimpin'. Fuck you think you're doing? I pull up in a Buick, blast this music. You know how we do it. Like Montel Jordan and these Jordans. All these bitches is swarming. Still I ignore them. Cause all these girls boring. Anytime I come through, making girls get a push. It's Charlie, you know me. Rolling in a Harley with short. I just hope you got the 40. 20 niggas in dark clothing, that's what we learned. You should hear the arrogant names these niggas were calling. And that bitch was on car before Asian or Dream, we had a battery dog. Fuck them up, middle fingers for law. We ain't with the blasted block, hopping out of a car.
How would these gunshot detector microphone things know the difference between a car backfiring
Another body just
We're being dead
another day.
serious. I don't think they would know the
You ain't
difference.
even know the war was underway.
Gunshot. They were gonna put those all over the city. Let's put microphones everywhere. If there's a gunshot,
let me tell you how I
Big
feel.
Brother will know.
Niggas ain't real.
He'll come
Nah,
to the
shot at your
rescue.
food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. A shot at your food like a meal. I know they thought they were finished. They came with 3 rounds. Straight up out of G-Town. Trains going eastbound. They used to talk about all these niggas. They know it's me now. Package get crash reported. That's how we rebound. F4TG gets brony. AR pays me. Trade bars. We the hardest up in these streets now. You best not trespass here, baby. Just keep out. We ain't fucking around with the steering if we gon' wheel out. You ain't got the manner for a nigga, that's when that skill out. Big clock, big shot, knocking all of your teeth out. By now you know they all got heat. They got no bars, but all got beats. Trap music.
not what am I doing? It's all time drop. You know what? All day long it's been like that. Hello, mouse.
I'll show you one time, force you to learn. I'ma show you one time, force you to learn. Then it's over for you clowns and you forfeit your turn. Torture and burn, killing no remorse or concern. I put your ashes on a mantle in a porcelain urn. Court is adjourned, life bids handed out, no speaking. You better watch your step, cuz no sleeping. But your goons in a hot whip, slow creeping. Hopping out, masked up, the flow deepens. These ain't cast and blasted for no reason. They ride for the cause, blasting the Mohicans. Blast of a dying breed, you don't wanna die and bleed. You will perish violently if you see the iron squeeze. Time to leave, shit is gonna get mucky. No miracles, you ain't gonna get lucky. It isn't gonna play like that. You gon' stiff and you gon' stay like that. Lay right flat, you gone. Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone. Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
Shit, waiting for the rush, keep the 40 tuck, talking about you let the 40 buck.
At the coffee shop.
Follow home, police watching, 10 drop pimps, hocking hoes that be street walking. A deep option is to get the beat popping. A peace offering when the saying rest in peace option. Sleep coffin 6 feet, death is a must. Arrested and cuffed, prison ride next is a bus. The road caught, but the paper keep us warm in the night. With no faces, bottle ace, but we pouring the light. Tunnel vision, eyes lock, all I see is a dollar. Piece of shit in the mirror, all I see is my father, fuck him. The game got us all twisted in the hurricane. Lost my mind when the crime came and the murders came. To all my niggas getting bread on the grind, there's no bail when you're locked to in federal time.
You gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone, bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
Any motherfucker to come harder than me and Graham. Sweeps the blame, empty the clip until I see him land.
All out, empty the strip, people fleeing rain.
I need a plan, triple beam scale and a key grams.
Legal jams, no options available. Coppers are tailing you, close friends failing you.
Kenny ginger ale, a dude cushion a glass jar. Cocaine moving dope faster than NASCAR.
Trying to earn hard, but you crashed in a firestorm. Trying to live the life of a G in a higher form.
My dogs are riding for blood in and blood out. If you ain't down with my team, bitch, get the fuck out.
I take a bullet for my fam, I'm my brother's keeper. It ain't about no music, the struggle's deeper.
Drugs and tweakers searching for the best rock, trap house, T-grams, crack man, next shot.
Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive, you gone. Bah, it's a homicide. Family and your mama cry, permanently traumatized. On the grind and the murder rate is on the rise. Only the strong survive. Strong survive.
What I watch today? Downstairs and back up. Why is it not doing? You skip the track.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for none of you godless heathens. That's just the way I feel. Screaming native lives matter, but Indians would rather drink whiskey than pay their bills. Yelling native this and native that. Root for a red skin and get a native mad. As soon as I say I'm native, everyone reacts and wanna hate me and call me a vulture because my hair ain't black. Or my skin and my eyes ain't brown. But I seen you at the last powwow, talking about genocide like you was around back then, like you was really hunting and gathering back then, like you was really boiling up back then. Okay, look, I heard you want to complain about the conditions you from, so it's worse than the ghetto, yeah, it's worse than the slum, but if it's so fucking bad, then why don't you run? America's free, you stupid idiot, you can do what you want. I work my ass off and pay my taxes for what? So y'all can sit on the breast, free everything and pretend you're stuck. But yeah, you're sitting there spending money on liquor and drugs, so you can drop your babies off at your sister mother recovers. Man, y'all already late. You motherfuckers need to get your goddamn priorities straight. Wait, it's like you're proud to be drunk, lazy as fuck. You'd rather do drugs than get a job and be up. But then you want to turn around and complain about alcoholism and addiction rates. Get the fuck out of my face. You can't escape the problems. You can smudge for a change, but can't earn a dollar. You got nobody else to blame, so you blame Donald. So it's fuck the world with America great again, kind of. And my voice ain't missing, I'm not racist. My great-great-great-grandma was Indian, I'm not racist. My family told me she was a strong and proud Cherokee princess. I heard y'all was fighting the feds. That's probably why there's not enough jobs on the reds. Well, maybe you should build a Walmart and evolve instead of cashing per cap checks and staying drunk till you're dead. I'm not racist, but I never lied. I think there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. I worship the Einsteins and study the Steve Jobs, but you ride crazy horses dick like he was a fucking god. Oh my God. All you do is care about drinking and drugging and bitching about something, but that's just the Indian within you. The old ways is rotting your brain, and it slowly starts to convince you. Then you allow your kids to join you and the cycle continues. Blame it all on the menu, blame it all on the drinks, blame it on everybody except your own race, blame it on white.
If you rest the team dying on your semi-high, big shots, nigga, rep your block. Yeah, best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Team dying on your semi-high, big shots, nigga, rep your block. Yeah, best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from.
3, 5, 7s and Mac 11s. G7, cock your weapon and stop yelling if you rep 187. I got niggas in the front ready and ready to split you down the middle just like a blunt. So walk with not with me. The Lord will not forgive me for shaking up your kidney. Cause you faking and Disney. My niggas lippy and shifty, pissy, really iggy, shiggy. We don't give a wiggy, but really, Millie's trying to kill the city like crack in the 80s. I'm ready to burn in 80s. My doctor's infected with rabies. Not even my barber can fit me. You niggas is crazy. Fuck up, fight and learn what these challenges do. You can be as cuckoo as you are. I'm unbalanced too. Fixing the garden, I'm coming to rally you. Had to go splatter you, run you off of your avenue while I laugh at you. The chronic sadistic, demented ruptures. My pigment, other appearance, igneous. Run you up the district.
If you rep the team dying on your semi-high, big shots, nigga, rep your block. Yeah, best be holding your.
Damn, son, where?
You gotta talk to these niggas. Hey, I'm Mary, full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face. Hey, I'm Mary, full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face. Naming out a rapper, that's the baddest part. In Toronto making hits like I was Alamar. Saute chicken, green peppers at the salad bar. Cops still profile niggas without the avatar. Had 20 niggas, I'm last man standing. My bitch on the runway like a plane landing. It's awesome, shoot up the church like Charleston. Before we listen to Robin Banks, we fucked the Carlton. My mom's brother had that weight, we called him Uncle Phil. Like you could be as fresh as a prince, but I had that fucking will. I'm in a muscle car, shorty get a foreign. Still I'm in a cut, cause some fucking party scoring. Niggas that was worried, over whores that were whoring. If I put my 50 cents in, it rains when it's pouring. Like none of you niggas fucking with me. Dollars, my young boy gon' smoke it for 150. I'm trying to lead us run with 200, pick me. If the soldiers were sword, I got 300 with me. Did you say your prayers for the day yet? Niggas getting smoked and had to take the rain check. Hail Mary, full of grace, smack the bitch in the face. Hail Mary, full of grace, smack the bitch in the face. Like bitch, you're dead wrong. I know that they ain't about that. We was cutting beef up, mad cows and all that. Can't tell you about the drama that was last night, but I got the compact, beam with the flashlight. I know they hate to see me like the gaslight. Me versus them, but that's a landslide. I swear they rooting for the feds to win. A man got smoked, and his homie ran to Edmonton. If I die, don't call my next of kin. Better act like cartel or move like you a Mexican. You ain't even smell the shit that you was stepping in. You can ask Kiss, former Rough Rider president. If they hitting, then we hitting back like Jono. We grew up off of cow foot and chicken back, y'all know. No love for farmers or a licky back. Big gun, pussy guaranteed he get lit with that. My papa said I had no autopsy. I stay giving niggas autopsies. Hail Mary, full of grace, smack the bitch in the face. Hail Mary, full of grace, smack the bitch in the face.
Just look at all sorts of references to how they put lead smelters next to black people housing and all sorts of shit.
You can do that make me run away from this class, yo. This class, yo. And there is no DJ can put the competition to the
4, 3, 2, 1 and slap it, jack it. Black 43 save for the package. They get their views up and then they're taking advantage. We kill it for the inside, baby. Miscarriage for the cabbage. Rest of the savage, get a bandage. Niggas could have managed. Suplex on the canvas. I'm Randy Savage. You know that's a work of art. Silhouette, my niggas slide when you wear the parts on parts. I can have that way from the point out days. So freeze with a card that slave. Don't watch my age, just watch when I pop my case. I fight engaged when niggas wouldn't watch them ways. I'm not amazed at y'all. Talking Panthers, chop for Dre. That nigga we just spot the place and drop the strays from the strap that I got in case. It's like a hurricane, the niggas gotta rock the place. So what my dudes now? It's like my dude they've been doing now. When you start, get it like a U-Haul and move around. Kids got my music in class, spreading the schools down. The demon kill Jesus, get some king of the Jews now. I blast, it was blasphemous. Rip this piece off, Jesus went to Nazareth. Move around, kids got my music in class, spreading the schools down. The demon kill Jesus, get some king of the Jews now. A shot blast, it was
We've now played through this track 2 full times while I'm waiting to do this. Okay.